Hey everyone, just wanted to do this video because there's been so much concern, of course, and discussion about the effect of coronavirus and the July 2020 bar exam. New York has announced that there's a postponement until fall. They didn't say a specific date, but they just said it's postponed until fall, which makes sense, right? Because it's like changing so much every day that you can't set down a date, and it doesn't seem like this whole thing's going to blow over by July, even the typical bar exam date. So it's postponed until fall for New York. Each jurisdiction will make an announcement separately. California had this emergency teleconference on the 30th, and there was no decision. I think there's another conference, maybe today. Today's Monday, April. All these days are blending together with this quarantine. The hair is puffy, fuzzy. I got my daughter beside me down here with the tablet and headphones on. Today's April 6th, and I'm pretty sure that they're having another teleconference trying to figure out what to do with the bar exam, but they have not said anything yet as to postponement. But it would make sense that every jurisdiction postpones. There's been a lot of talk and people wanting JD, kind of diploma privilege. So if you finish law school, you can practice law. You don't need to. So a lot of people are saying, well, why don't we just do that now? It's emergency time. So let's just do that now for all jurisdictions. And I personally think that it would never happen because California, for example, it hasn't been over a 50% pass rate. Very rare that it's over 50%. So let's say there's 10,000 people taking it, sitting for it in July, then you would have double the amount of attorneys that would be admitted. And then also you would have all the past people that it's like cumulative that did not pass. So you would have all of them becoming attorneys too, because that wouldn't be fair to just have it for this class. Well, maybe it could be fair, but I'm just saying that's where it gets complicated. I don't think we would ever see a JD privilege in any jurisdiction with a lower bar pass rate. Maybe if the bar pass rate was really high, like 80, 90%, then I think you could have a diploma JD privilege that would be not as big of a jump. And then you also have, so there's 1.35 million licensed attorneys in the US and 170,000 in California alone. Imagine what they would think or how they would feel if all these graduates they got their license. These are some things that I think weigh against ever having a diploma privilege in a jurisdiction that had a low bar pass rate. Recently, I believe Friday 3rd, the NCBE, the National Conference of Board Examiners, they announced there would be 3 separate dates where they would have materials available to the jurisdictions. The typical July date, plus 2 in September 9th and 10th, and then 30th and October 1st, which, of course, all these questions would be different. And people are like, well, what does that mean exactly? What it means is like all these jurisdictions in their making their decision, now they have all of these available to them to give those dates. They could give only the July, let's say, or that early September, or maybe they could give a few and say, if you register for this one, this early September, you can't register again to go for the other one. Like you only have the one shot out of the 3. Or maybe you could have July. I don't know. This is all the jurisdiction's decision. They're just making it more flexible on their end for these individual jurisdictions because every single jurisdiction except for Louisiana uses the MBE, which is a multiple choice, which is 50% of the exam in majority of jurisdictions. So I hope that makes sense what I'm saying. If it doesn't, feel free to comment and I'll try and reply, or shoot an email or whatever. I'll try and reply to explain what I think is going on with that. But definitely it's going to be, I think, a postponement. In following this and me being one of the founders of the app, with the current students of the app, it's kind of like, well, why should I study so hard right now? Or why should I even sign up for a bar prep? Because what happens with bar prep for all of them is they all work on schedules, right? It traditionally starts on June 2nd, let's say, or first Monday in June. And then you do like torts the first 2 weeks or first week and a half, first 3 days or whatever, and then it leads you up to the exam. And the thing is, I've always thought that kind of system with the schedules is kind of not very good because it sucks in that everyone's different. So you're not going to work on your own weakness and spend less time on what you're good at already and you're naturally good at because you're going by the schedule that everyone is going by. So that's why I think that system sucks, and that's why I came up with the app, which the app works on the principle of scaffolding. So you do a level. So I didn't know it was called scaffolding. I tell people about the app and they'd be like, oh, it's called scaffolding. So I looked it up and I haven't even read too much into it, to be honest, but it seems like with the app, how I've designed the app is scaffolding. And I don't know of anyone that is using this principle. So scaffolding, anyone in bar prep. So scaffolding is you do one level and then you master this level, right? And then you move on to the other next level. And each level is a scaffold and you can't move on until you master that level, as opposed to every other bar prep where if you're going by the schedule, you could not get it and be pushed along onto the next one. So that is why they need a definite date for bar prep, because you need to put their schedule and then have that bar exam date at the end so you get to there. But with this system that the Exam Drills app has, you're in the best position as you can take a long time and get through each level and take as long as you need, and it will be reinforced as you get further and further along. Oh, that's all I wanted to say. So thanks a lot for tuning in. And if you have any questions about anything, please feel free to comment or email podcast@barexamdrills.com. Everybody's family is safe and we'll get through this and we'll be fine.